Premier Passholder perks, hotels closing, dated tickets, and more. You are listening to episode 417 of the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Hey everyone! It is me, it's Tracy. Hope you're all doing brilliantly, or as well as you can do with the current climate. Yes, we are back for another episode, and I've got people with me, as usual. I have Lee.
Hello everyone!
And I have Chris.
Hey, how's it going?
Just three, I can't count. I'm not including myself there. It's just the three of us this week, isn't it?
Tell she's not doing a maths degree.
She sits next to you, Lee. I'd be careful.
She doesn't. She sits across the room from me. I'm only in throwing distance, not hitting distance right now.
I know what 2 minus 1 equals.
I didn't hear that. Chris was asking how your throwing arm was.
Oh, it's okay. Pretty good. So, okay, moving on. So, Chris, give us some good news.
Yeah, let's start off with some really great news. Hotels are closing.
Damn it.
So recently, Universal Orlando announced that Signature Hotels, and this one hurts, the Los Sapphire Falls Resort, and Aventura were to close on August 21st due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic.
Boo.
Well, last week, they extended those closures of 2 hotels, along with Portofino Bay, which hasn't opened since the resort's opening in July, and the Endless Summer Resorts Dockside Inn and Suites, which hasn't even officially opened at all yet throughout the rest of 2020.
Wow.
So those will continue to be closed, and kind of a bummer. I know, like, the Surfside one is pretty recent decision because, Lee, we were talking, I have a friend of mine who was going to be staying there the first week of September.
Yes.
And they even told her, like, oh, you're one of the first people to kind of stay at this hotel when it comes and opens. And she had just booked that recently. And then a couple days ago, she reached out to me and they're like, yep, they said they are not opening and they're moving me to the other hotel.
Yeah. Like I said, that's where we were supposed to be staying when we came over in October this year.
Yep.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see when they do actually open
It's
it.
understandable, though, with the current climate. If they're not running anywhere near capacity, it's just overheads that they're paying out, and it's false economy.
My concern is what happens to the staff that are working in those hotels while they're closed, because it's laws, not universal, isn't it? Because we know...
I can tell you some of them have not been back to work because I'm friends with some that work at the hotels.
Right. Well, we know a friend of ours who was at our meet at Strongwater in February got laid off during COVID as well. So, yeah. It's sad.
It's pretty sad.
I mean, like you say, you can't blame them. There's no point having a hotel, having multiple hotels open if you're nowhere near capacity. It's a completely false economy. So it makes sense. Actually... Does it make sense to have the other hotels more busy?
You mean busier?
So we've got a point where the whole thing of this thing is keeping people apart, social distancing, yet you're going to close hotels and push the people that would have been in those into other hotels, making those hotels busier than they would be?
Maybe. I mean, there's also, the cost aspect to it. They probably are running at a loss if they keep them open.
Yeah.
I can tell you it's kind of weird. So we recently stayed like 2 weeks ago, last week.
Yeah.
We stayed at Dockside. Surfside.
You always get those mixed up, don't you?
Cinematic Celebration, Spectacular, whichever one. Doesn't matter. Same thing.
Well,
Universal making better
it's
names.
a bit different because one's open and one isn't.
Yeah. So we stayed there and the hotel was not packed. So they are limiting capacity,
yeah,
but it didn't feel packed at all. And we even ended up, hitting the pool for a little bit. Now they have a giant pool over there, but it was pretty spaced out.
Okay.
But like the misleading thing is, so when I went to the parks a few weeks prior, it was dead. Like I posted up the pictures in the Producers Club and they were just empty streets. This last trip was the exact opposite of that. So it's pretty packed. So, it's basically locals that are just going to the parks now like crazy, but you don't need hotels for locals. So for Universal, it's like, hey, we'll close some of the hotels down because it's, we're not making enough money.
Yeah.
And maybe that's not even Universal's decision. Maybe that's Lowe's decision. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's the weird thing with Universal and their hotels, that it's kind of this. Obviously, Lowe's runs the hotels, but there's got to be some association there with Universal. So I'm assuming they must be talking to each other.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
they
a
have
weird
to.
one.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah. Well, it is what it is.
they better get
Yeah.
It's just, the way things are at the moment. And
like the super crappy thing is obviously my love for Strong Water Tavern at Sapphire, and these guys just opened recently, like as far back as a few weeks ago, I think.
Right.
And then they're having to close now again. So those guys came back to work because I have a buddy that works at the bar there. When I was up there a couple weeks ago, he messaged me, "Hey, we're open again." I'm like, "That's awesome." And then now it's like, and we're going to close again. So, yeah.
Well,
I thought things are supposed to get better the more time goes along with this bloody pandemic.
Go on then, Lee. You give us some good news then.
Well, how about another closing?
Yay!
So along with the hotels that some of them haven't even opened and then other ones have just opened and they're closing again, Universal have also announced now that Volcano Bay will close. Not completely though. Only on Tuesdays and Thursdays starting on the 8th of September. Universal said the decision for the schedule change was based on operational needs and fall travel trends. Visitors are encouraged to check the Universal Orlando website for the latest park hours. Now, from what I've heard, Volcano Bay is one of the 3 parks that has reached capacity, whatever that is at the moment.
3.
The most. Which I find interesting.
It.
I don't, because you don't have to wear masks in there.
People don't care, Tracy. You're forgetting that.
No,
so
that's
Florida,
yeah,
remember?
of course, yeah.
Mix that together with it feeling like the surface of the sun, which is what it felt like when I was there last. And you got yourself a packed park. Like when we were driving into the parking lot, the line, so this is where we got worried. We're like, oh crap, this is going to be packed at the park, which it still was. But when you're coming in from, what is that, Universal Boulevard, and you're coming in initially to the parking area, we were backed up all the way to the back, right?
Wow.
Haven't seen that in a long time.
No.
Turns out it's because, you know how they separate the 2 to 4 right lanes for Volcano Bay in the parking area?
If you say so.
Okay. Well, in the parking lot area, before you go in, when you go to pay, supposedly the right 3-4 lanes are supposed to be Volcano Bay, and it says it there, even though you can go to any one, still go to any park. But everybody was in line for that, and it was backing up the entire thing.
Wow.
So once you got close enough, all the other lanes were open for the parks. The lanes to get inside Volcano Bay, completely jam-packed.
Such a strange one. I mean, we even debated when the parks were closed whether the Volcano Bay would even open this year. And now you're at a point where it's the busiest of the parks. I mean, I haven't got it in the show notes, and I don't think Seth mentions it later, but is it the Florida residents thing, buy a day, get the rest of the year free? The first weekend that ticket was available, I saw pictures on Twitter, and it was rammed at security.
Yeah.
I don't understand it, but it's up to the individuals.
The thing is, again, as long as you've got your mask on, and as long as you're washing your hands and you're sensible, there is no issue. I know people see these pictures and they're like, oh my God, it's far too busy. You shouldn't be there. Oh, and it's like, as long as you're sensible about it and everybody else is, then there's no issue. The social distancing thing is irrelevant as long as you like say you're washing your hands and you're wearing your masks.
The thing is, I know that I'm doing that. I don't trust other people enough to do that.
And that's
my issue. That's why I'm not going anywhere unless I really have to. Still.
I want to go.
I'm not, and again, it's individual. I can't think of the words.
Risk tolerance.
And your comfort levels. And if you're happy to go, brilliant. Go and have fun. Have some fun for me. I'm just a wuss and I'm not ready.
I am. So obviously, I've been twice now, and I am like my risk tolerance, right? I'm like okay with going to the parks because they're doing a phenomenal job. Okay, right? Good. And even staying at the resorts. Yeah, it was even better than when I stayed at one of the Hiltons or the Hamptons that I had stayed at prior, because they close off most of the doors. You have to come to the front entrance where there's security at all times that do temperature checks. You have a bracelet that is good for the day. You got to get a new one every day, meaning you got to get your temperature checked every single day. If you get a fever mid-trip, will they kick you out? Maybe. I don't know. But they're doing temp checks there. They're doing temp checks again at the parks. They're doing, mandatory hand sanitizer before getting on every ride.
Yeah.
They're doing a really good job at that.
Yeah.
That all being said, even though I feel comfortable there, wouldn't feel as comfortable in Volcano Bay. I know it's outdoor, but it's a little bit more exposed for me, I think. And if it's completely meeting capacity or even 50% capacity, that worries me a little bit more, to be honest. So as much as I love that park, I'm kind of staying away at the moment.
Yeah.
I think it's easier for us to say we're not ready. We wouldn't go because we don't have the option to
I'm
anyway.
ready. I would go. I don't give a crap.
I'd send you. It's fine.
It's interesting out of our little.
Is there a rope drop every day?
Oh, it would be. I don't care. Like if I was doing this podcast and we lived locally, I'd be there as much as I could.
I'd be sending Lee to bring me matcha green tea puffs home and stuff like that, but I wouldn't be going.
Oh God, yeah, I'd be coming back with laden
sacrificial
down
lamb.
with orders. It wouldn't bother me though, because I know my risk tolerance level is high. What does that mean? If my risk tolerance level's high, does that mean I don't care? If it's low, am I like, oh my God, I don't want to touch anything? I don't. Which one is it?
Oh.
I would be quite comfortable. The differences between Tracy and I is I've been out a lot because I've been back to work and I've had to go and do stuff like even during lockdown, I was the one going to the supermarket. Tracy wasn't comfortable. So I've been out there. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't mean that I didn't go to the supermarket at the weekend and get incredible stuff at the amount of people I saw wearing masks below the nose or not at all.
Hanging off their ears.
Yeah, right. It still annoys the life out of me, but I'm quite comfortable because I know I'm in control of me.
Yeah.
So as far as going to the parks, it wouldn't bother me in the slightest. What I was going to say at this point, I find it funny, obviously because we can't, but out of our little group of hosts, there's the four of us, and then add in Michelle and Kenneth and a few other people, Seth and all that. We're the only ones that haven't been so far. I don't like that.
No, but we don't have the option.
We might have had the option. They haven't. I don't think they've cancelled flights for the end of October
not
yet.
Sitting on a flight that long.
Whatever.
No.
I'll go on my own next year then. Anyway, I can't believe this thing is still as bad as it is.
As bad as it is, it's getting worse.
It's not getting worse.
Yes, it is.
No.
Numbers are rising. So, there you go. We're never getting back. Right. Okay, moving on.
Good news so far, right?
Oh, it's amazing.
I made sure I front loaded with all the so by the time we get to the back, it's more fun.
Okay.
Good.
You thought about it this time then. That's good. Okay, we have date-based tickets, apparently. Universal have followed Disney's lead by introducing date-based ticket pricing. So a 1-day ticket must be used on the day selected. A 2-day ticket must be used within 5 days of the chosen start date. 3-day tickets are to be used within 6 days of the chosen start date. 4-day tickets must be used within 7 days of the chosen start date. And finally, 5-day tickets are to be used within 8 days of the chosen start date. Seems reasonable.
But you have to, so obviously when you go and buy your ticket, you have to pick a date. If you buy a 1-day ticket, you've got to pick a day that you're going to use it.
Yeah.
If you buy a 2-day ticket, you have to pick the day that you're going to use that for the first, and then you have to use that second day within 5 days.
Which is all well and good, but as I've said before about things like this, when you have kids...
No, they don't give a
No, but when you do, and you've got kids, and you wake up that day and your kid's ill,
I think that's
it's tough. The kid's bloody going.
So I'm gonna pull Tracy up here. So you during a pandemic, you're gonna take your kids to the park then?
Well, yeah, I don't like them, so got to get rid of them somehow.
Fair enough.
She has 2 for a reason.
Yep, spare.
Let's not get into that. I
wasn't thinking about pandemic. I'm just. Obviously, this,
and that's what it's there for. I don't know whether you'll see this post.
It also means they are also they can see what their numbers are going to be for each day coming in,
because that's it now. Because now they're going to know, because you're going to have you're going to have your annual pass holders, and then you're going to have your tickets that they're going to have a pretty good idea of how many people are going to be there in a given week.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably. Yeah, this looks like a setup for the eventual traveling happening, right? Because right now I don't think they have this issue. It's all local people, but I think once traveling starts to happen, this isn't going away tomorrow. I think we're going to be dealing with certain circumstances until a good portion of next year. So this is their way of setting up to be able to track numbers and things like that, so they can better kind of set flows.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that we've coming from the UK until we bought our first annual pass. Can you believe we've only been annual pass holders for less than a year still? Our 14-day tickets that we would normally buy coming over from the UK are that anyway. You did 14 days from the first time you use it. Obviously, you're not picking a date to start using it, but from when you use that ticket for the first day, you have 14 days to use it. And then it expires, because it never used to be. I remember the first... What?
Okay.
What does that mean?
Just got money.
What money?
PayPal.
Oh, it'll be another Producers Club member. Welcome aboard, Judson. I'll give you a shout out on the show.
Hey, happy birthday.
Thanks for the money.
Yeah, we've always had date-based tickets for the most part anyway. Like I say, it's slightly different because we haven't had to pick a date to use them. But
yeah.
So coming from the UK. But now having an annual pass, I think it's worth its weight in gold at the moment. I think this thing right now, and if this stays in place when travelling starts more, I think a lot of people, I will say this now, if you are looking to go during these times, an annual pass is worth its weight in gold right now.
Yeah.
There are no restrictions on annual pass holders.
As far as what?
Like goings, if you...
Nope.
Obviously they've got to think about capacity.
Well, obviously, if you don't...
Well, the lower passes, yeah. Like they'll have...
blockout dates, but as far as getting
Yeah.
in, obviously they'll have capacity. If you get there late and it's at capacity, then you won't get in, but you can rock up whenever you want, whereas one of these, you know that you get a 3-day ticket, you've got to use it within 6 days, whereas as an annual pass...
So this has always been like that, right? You said your 14-day tickets, aside from having to select a date, you'd have to go within 14 days, right? Or it was the next 14 days.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But not many of us would stay longer than 14 days.
True.
Because that was the weird thing when we came over in 2013 for our 3-week trip. I don't know why I didn't get annual passes. We probably should have done back then. That would have been the perfect time to do them. But we weren't sort of savvy. We'd only been doing the podcast for 2 years and we were still freaking clueless.
He always
at
says
that point.
we. Throw yourself under the bus.
So we only bought a 2-week ticket. So we didn't even hit Universal till the beginning of our second week. Sorry, Chris, you were saying.
Oh, no. I mean, prior to this, do any of you guys know, like, if you bought a 2-day ticket, do you use 1 day and then you can use the next one 2 months from now? Or
that's an interesting question.
Because I feel like there's a timeline they would make you use it anyways.
Yeah.
That's an interesting question. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm just going to make a phone call.
You've got to make a phone call.
Because I feel like it was similar before, right?
Yeah,
so
there
if
must
that's
have
the
been.
case, the only thing that this really does is like if you have to buy a ticket during like a promotional period, right?
Yeah.
Because aside from that, like I'm a pass holder, and I don't remember the last time, even before I was a pass holder, I don't remember the last time I stood in a line to go buy tickets in front of a park. I do everything online, right? So what does it stop me from just going the night before and going, okay, we're going tomorrow for sure. The weather's great. Let me buy my ticket. It's not that much of a difference, in my opinion.
I was trying to ring Michelle. She would know, but she's currently in the dentist. I'll throw her under the bus.
That's not really throwing her under a bus.
Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting question. Let's see if she gets back to me later and we'll answer that question later on. There's probably a ton of people listening to this thing screaming at us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Resolve experts.
It's an interesting point, though. I do wonder how much different... Wait, what has actually changed? I think the only thing that's probably changed, in fairness, is having to say, I'm going to buy this one, say, a 4-day ticket, and the first day I will use it will be next Saturday.
Yeah.
There's probably longer on it. You might get... I don't know. That's the interesting thing. I remember when we first came over in 2004, 2005, our tickets had no expiration on them. So you got a 14-day ticket. If you use 5 days, that may be the Disney ones. I'm not sure about the Universal ones. The Universal ones definitely did. If you bought like a 14-day ticket and you only use 5 days, you could use the other 9 the next year. I'm not sure about Universal, actually, thinking about it. Interesting. Yes. Hopefully Michelle will ring back at some point and I will ask her that, because that is interesting.
Yes. Okay.
Episode cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, because it's like everyone's made a big deal over this new ticket, this date-based ticketing thing, and you go, well, hang on, how much different is it from what was before?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that's the kind of the pain in the ass is the selecting a date.
Yes.
Maybe. That's about it, because it doesn't give you that flexibility. Especially if you're somewhere that you're driving in. So, like, if you have to buy a plane ticket and do all that, your plans are pretty set.
Yeah.
But if you're coming in from like Georgia, or you drove 5, 6, 7 hours, you can kind of move that around. So it doesn't give you that flexibility when you have to select a date.
Yeah. It's interesting. I think if Halloween Horror Nights had gone ahead this year, you would have seen this. I think you would have had to buy your tickets with a specific date in mind. I think you would have bought dated tickets had Halloween Horror Nights gone ahead.
I don't know if I'm crazy, but I feel like they had that once before.
Don't know.
Like, I know you have to buy the tickets based off of time periods, right? Like Saturdays or Fridays or Sundays.
So I've never bought a one-day ticket other than the first time we ever came, and that was a long time ago.
Well, that's how it is over here. Like, when you're going to buy a ticket, they have like the different price packages. And so you would buy a one-day ticket good for Sunday through Friday. Then you can buy a one-day ticket for Saturday. And depending on the day, right, it would be a different cost. So, I mean, it's similar like that, but I don't know if I'm going crazy or if at one point in the past you actually bought tickets for a particular date or set of dates.
I have no idea.
If only we had a Horror Nights expert.
Yeah, where is he? I've told Michelle to ring me when she gets out the dentist.
Right, well, while we're waiting, why don't we head over to Seth for little things?
Hi, this is Seth Kabursky, co-author of the Unofficial Guides, and you'd better hang on because we've got a huge new edition of all the little things from around the Universal Orlando Resort. First and foremost, there's been some major operational changes at Universal Orlando Resort over the last couple of weeks. To very quickly sum them up, the Aventura and Sapphire Falls hotels have reclosed as of August 21st. If you had a reservation to stay at either of those properties through the end of the year, you'll be hearing from Universal, and they'll be transferring you either down to Cabana Bay or Endless Summer, or bumping you up to the Royal Pacific.
You'd have your fingers
Speaking
crossed.
of the Royal Pacific,
Royal Pacific.
Orchard Court Lounge over there is currently closed. However, there is that new grab-and-go dining area in the lobby to accommodate you. Another major change at Universal Orlando is that they have switched from ticket seasons to date-specific pricing. Previously, tickets were divided up into value, regular, or peak, and a ticket designated for a certain category could be used on any day within that category. Now, all single and multi-day Universal Orlando tickets sold will be date-specific, which means you have to pick a particular day on the calendar where that ticket can first be used. Remaining days on multi-day tickets can be used on any day after that first day until the tickets expire, but tickets now expire no longer than 8 days after their first activation, where that used to be up to 14 days.
Well, there you go.
This new date-specific system is a little too complicated for me to really dig into here on the little things, but here is a little tip. If you're planning a multi-day visit, also look at the pricing for buying individual single-day tickets. Depending on the season, it can be cheaper to buy multiple single-day tickets than one multi-day ticket.
Wow, okay.
You also might be able to save a few dollars by bumping the first day of the ticket back a day or two. So consult the calendar on Universal Orlando's ticketing website. All right, let's go inside the parks for a little bit of attraction news. In the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure was down for several days due to a fire backstage.
Those damn screws.
However, the equipment has been repaired and the ride is back to operations In fact, it's been running so well lately that they have not needed to use the virtual line, and standby waits have remained mostly under an hour. Next door in Jurassic Park, work continues on the unannounced Velocicoaster.
No, it's
Rock
not.
work is going up
Yeah.
around the track. Potential trains have been spotted nearby property. And most interestingly of all, a pair of ospreys appear to have built a nest on the top of the highest point of the track. Hopefully those birds can find a safer home before those trains start running on that track.
They already have.
Here's a couple little dining notes from around the Universal Orlando Resort. The new Central Park Crepe Stand, which is located near the Horror Makeup Show, has opened with a variety of fresh crepes and appears to be quite popular. I also noticed that the cocktail window at La Bamba, directly across the street from there, is also back open. Good news for people who do not like eating their ice cream in cones. Florian's over in
Weirdos.
Diagon Alley is once again serving ice cream in free paper cups instead of requiring you to purchase a plastic souvenir cup if you don't like cones. If you'd like a little entertainment with your meal, I noticed that Antojitos out in City Walk is once again hosting a mariachi band.
Good.
And that is one of the few City Walk restaurants that's currently open on weekdays.
Okay.
And if you are craving a taste of Halloween Horror Nights, pizza fries are now available at both Louie's in Universal Studios Florida and the Fantastic Four Cafe in Islands of Adventure. Louie's is offering the pizza fries with pepperoni, while over in Marvel, you can get them margarita style with basil pesto. Both can be ordered through the mobile ordering feature in Universal's smartphone app. Speaking of Halloween Horror Nights, there have been some big additions to the Halloween Horror Nights tribute store. Additional rooms featuring Beetlejuice have opened in the back of the tribute store. And there's also now a selection of sweet treats, including giant glowing donuts and gummy beating hearts.
Which look awesome.
They've also added an old-fashioned wax mold machine to the classic monster room that lets you take home a model of Frankenstein.
They do,
Here's
don't
a
they,
tip.
Chris?
There's often a
Yes, they do.
15-minute or longer wait to get into the Halloween Horror Nights tribute store. But if you're looking for some of the new Beetlejuice merchandise or Halloween face masks, you can find them in the main Universal Studios store at the entrance of the park. And as we head out of the Universal Orlando Resort, you might be interested to know that Tenet, the eagerly anticipated Christopher Nolan film, will be holding early sneak preview screenings at the Universal Orlando City Walk Cinemark on August 31st, September 1st, and September 2nd. Limited tickets are available because of social distancing in the theater. Looking across Kirkman Road, if you are a fan of hibachi-style Japanese food, the Kobe, right across from Universal Orlando, has reopened and is once again serving lunches on Sundays with a happy hour. And finally, on a sad note, the iRide trolley, which services the International Drive area, has suspended operation. So if you were planning on using that service during your visit to Universal Orlando, you are going to have to look at the public Lynx bus or a rideshare service instead.
I'll get a car.
All right,
I'll walk.
that will do for this week. I am Seth Kabursky from the Unofficial Guide to Universal Orlando. You can find me at theunofficialguides.com or at the UG Series on Instagram and Twitter. And I'll be back again soon with more little things from around the Universal Orlando Resort.
Right. That was quite a bit.
There was.
That Jurassic Park coaster looks amazing. And the more they build, like that show building, I think it was Alicia posted from Drew from Inside Universal that he saw a raptor on the back of a truck today. He said it was an animatronic and then changed his mind. I think he said it looked like it was a statue. So it looks like we're getting raptors in it somewhere.
Well,
I'm down.
not a surprise.
Why? We don't know that that's what it's going to be. They haven't said jack shit about
No,
it
but
at this point.
Raptors are popular.
The Velocicoaster, Lee, come on.
They have never
You know that's the
announced.
name.
They have not announced that.
And Raptor Race.
I will say it again. Universal,
Raptor Racer.
in
Yeah,
their
I
entire
like that.
history, have never done a ride with a name that short.
The spectacular, fantastic voyage of the Velocicoaster ride.
No. But it looks like there's a massive shore building in there. The rockwork looks awesome. Looks like there's a couple of head chopper moments in it and bits where you're going to be going through the rockwork. It looks awesome. I think it may.
I will
make
say,
it-
being like next to it when we were at on the back end of what's that restaurant?
the Three Broomsticks.
Three Broomsticks, yes. Being there, seeing the roller coaster up close, those tracks are very close to each other,
Oh yeah.
like dangerously close.
Mm.
So
It is going to be awesome. Chris, how are the crepes? Because I did say I would buy you four for
Crepes
you.
or
and
crepes?
they were so
Hang on,
good.
hang on.
Oh man, I started off.
Give me
with
2
the-
seconds, Chris. For
The what?
Stuart Mallet, crepe. How were
Crepe.
they?
Whew, words cannot describe them, Leah. They were just, unfortunately, not in my hands to eat because the line was extremely long and it was 137 degrees outside. So we had to pass on them. And then we went back the next day for a quick trip in the morning, and they weren't open until, like 11 or something. So we missed out, unfortunately. I
So
have failed.
just to show how much Chris will sacrifice for the show, Kenneth went and stood in that line because he was there at the same time you were, I do believe, Chris, and he bought them. And the vlog is on our YouTube channel.
Called out, Chris.
And I was with Kenneth right before he did. And props to you, Kenneth. I hope you enjoyed that crepe.
They look amazing. Fill in that blank as you will.
I have not seen anybody say that they're not worth it at this point. Any of them.
I intend to lose a lot of weight so I can just get crepe fat when I next get out there.
It shows how popular they are. The fact that, I mean, I know the social distance and they make them fresh there, but the fact that the line is that long is a testament to the fact. And imagine what it's going to be like when we start getting more visitors in the park.
I know. Can I just make a suggestion, though, to anybody who's listening? That, open before 11, do breakfast crepes with sausage, bacon and eggs in them.
Well, there's a vegan sausage one in there, so that I don't understand.
But it's sausage, bacon, scrambled eggs in a crepe?
We have been
Yes.
talking since we started this podcast that Universal really struggle as far as breakfast. They've actually just put a blog post up, and I nearly, if all this crap hadn't have happened this week, I would have been covering that on the show because, again, it's something we've talked about for a long time. The breakfast options inside the parks and at City Walk aren't great.
So I'm going to up that ante because I actually experienced something like that this past trip. I was in the parks as early as I've probably ever been in the parks because I'm a late park goer. You know that.
Yeah.
Really? Haven't noticed?
Yeah, I run a little late here and there, but for some reason I was up at like 8 a.m. on Sunday, and we were leaving early because we had to go do something else that day for that trip we made up there. And I was like, you know what? Let me run inside the parks. Let me go get a little bit more merch from the store, maybe ride a ride or two, head out. And I think I walked in like at 9:15 or something like that. And I just wanted a drink, like a soda to have. I wanted some caffeine. I couldn't find any stand open that would refill my damn cup.
Wow.
Like, I couldn't find anywhere. I literally walked for a while and like places were closed, and I kept on going like to the one stand. Oh, we're not open yet. I'm like, do you know where I can go? They're like, oh, we stagger the openings from the opening, like the beginning of the park outward. Mind you, I'm already in the back of the park. So great. I have nothing now. I don't know if that's like a COVID thing, but I immediately thought about, us talking about not having enough options earlier on or later on in the evening. And yeah, not even a drink. Couldn't find one.
No, I think it's been made worse by COVID, but breakfast options aren't great. You've got like Cinnabon, Voodoo Donut, Today Cafe when you get in there. There isn't a lot. I mean, look, even to this point, when I booked our family dinner at Toothsome, there was a whole cock-up and they had us down for a
my
8:30
God.
reservation. Because Chris, I
Oh,
got
yeah.
you to ring up because we were trying to bring it forward because it was freezing. And they were like, oh no, we've got you down for 8:30 in the morning. And then we're like, but you don't open at 8:30 in the morning. So why have you made us
Is
a
the option
reservation
there?
for... No, it was... Because I did it all through email because I wanted to book a table for 9. And I was very specific that it was 8:30. But the fact they didn't...
Yeah, so why?
I just love how you had to explain that. That's just the funniest thing, though.
If they're not open, it's not an option. So why it was a possibility?
Because the initial email I got back was, oh, you want 8:30 in the morning. If it's breakfast you're after, we can push it that way. And I was like, no, 8:30 in the evening. All right, no problem. So I got that email back. Then Chris rings up. Oh, no, we've got a reservation for 8:30 in the morning. But you don't open at 8:30 in the morning. So why would you put me down for a reservation at that time when you're not open?
It makes no sense.
Weird, the opening times of food places at Universal. There is no rhyme or reason for any, like certain places in City Walk don't open until, prime example, we were going to go and do NBC Sports Grill and Brew with Darren and Nina when we came over in 2015. We ended up in Cowfish and we all know how that went.
Memorable.
No invite? What's up, man?
Because I didn't even know you existed at that point, Chris. Otherwise you would have been. But yeah, NBC Sports Grill and Brew didn't open until 4 o'clock. I don't understand why.
It's weird. It's very weird.
Yeah, it's odd the way things open.
By the way, just a little tip. If anybody is going out there, I would recommend if you're going to eat at a restaurant, make an early a reservation early on in the day for the evening, because they have very, very few tables that they are holding for reservations.
Yep.
Like we were going to do Vivo, and the guy had told me that they only have 3 tables per hour that you can reserve.
Wow.
The rest are like walk-ups. And since it's packed now, wait times are getting up there for these restaurants.
I can imagine.
So book early.
Yeah.
Before we move on, because we haven't broached it yet, Tribute Store, oh my God, all that Beetlejuice stuff is amazing.
Oh.
They better have that room in there next year. It's weird how... So my weird issue is you haven't announced anything for Horror Nights. Anything officially. We talked about it last week. We know what the spec map was. We have a pretty good idea that was on the nail. So way to show your hand and go, have a look at what probably would have been at Horror Nights this year. Beetlejuice. Why else would we have all this merchandise? And why else would we have this whole room devoted to it at the back? It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I'm mad at them. They opened it up the weekend after. I was there, so I don't even want to talk about it.
It does look awesome, though.
I know.
And the food looks cool. That's what gets me excited for Horror Nights next year, if Beetlejuice is part of it. Because you're not going to have Stranger Things for all the Stranger Things food that they've done the last few years. You're going to have all this cool Beetlejuice stuff.
Shrimp cocktails.
It's
Which I want it because I don't like, but
the
it's
little
so cool.
pretzel dog things that look like the sandworms are awesome.
Yes. And that merch. I've already got a list.
The socks are amazing.
Lanyard.
I'm all about the socks.
Oh, the lanyard's amazing. I've got to have a new one. Better be there.
Yeah.
Right, should we move on?
Yes, please. We're running quite late. Actually, Jesus, we have been going quite a while.
Well, that's probably a big chunk.
We talked about tickets for about an hour. So.
Yeah, we did.
And then Seth just went, oh, by the way, it was this.
Yeah, so we'll probably cut all of that out. So, yeah. So, Producers Club birthdays.
Birthday?
Birth.
Yeah, whatever. We've only got one. I think Lee's forgotten a few.
No.
Only got one. And
Jeff rides.
yeah, happy birthday, Jeff.
The guy who's just joined, his birthday might be today. Let's Judson, if it's your birthday, happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
never know.
If it's not, then you'll get it again.
And she's getting her full Sunday name by the looks of things here.
That is her name.
Well, on the 7th of September, it is the very lovely, I adore this girl, Alexandra Hardegree's birthday. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Zandra.
Happy birthday.
Yes, Zandra. Alexandra's only when she's in trouble, isn't it?
It's her birthday name on the show.
Oh, you put it on a cake?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope you have a lovely day.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so we are going to take a quick break.
Have you taken a stroll down Diagon Alley and visited Gringotts Bank? Taken a ride through New York with Jimmy Fallon? Visited the Truffler Trees in Zeus Landing or hung out with a real-life Transformer? No? Then what are you waiting for? At Universal Orlando Resort, there truly is an option for everyone. Or if you're leaning a little more towards pixie dust rather than ones and potions, Disney destinations around the globe await your arrival. No matter the adventure, our sponsors have you covered. Be sure to let the experts at Mouse & Muggle Travel Company take care of all your travel needs. Earning the distinction of being an earmarked agency specializing in Disney destinations, as well as becoming one of the first to be named a U Preferred agency with Universal Parks and Resorts vacations. Mouse & Muggle Travel Company will ensure you receive top-rate customized service. Just visit mouseandmuggle.com to fill out a non-obligation quote request, or send your request to info@mouseandmuggle.com. Their team can take care of you no matter where in the world you go. With a flick of their wand and a little bit of pixie dust, the process will be so seamless, some might even say it's simply magical.
Welcome back. I hope you all had good wheeze or whatever you did. Or listen to the ad
Well,
that
that's
you're
the whole
supposed to.
point of
Sorry, I'm getting evils now. Sorry, Michelle. So, Chris, yeah, talk about wheeze and things.
Hey, yeah.
See, I knew. See, it was just a smooth segue. Honest.
Let's talk about poo.
Yeah.
One of my favourite subjects.
Oh, yeah. So which loo gets your poo? And this one's from Eugene Helfrich. Hello, UUOP. This is Eugene from Tampa, Florida. Despite being a Florida native, I am relatively new fan of Universal Orlando, going to the park for the first time in March 2019 with my fiance. In the year that followed, before the pandemic, we returned to the resort 8 times, and it quickly became my favorite theme park in Orlando. Of course it is. This weekend, my fiance and I decided to return to Universal for the first time since they reopened to celebrate our birthdays. Happy birthday. We checked out the tribute store in the morning, ate at the Navigators Club, and bought some of the cool retro merch, including the glasses that I have been eyeing for a bit.
Pardon the pun.
Overall, what?
Glasses and eyeing, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I appreciated it.
Yeah.
Overall, it was a great visit, even if it did feel just a little bit weird.
I'm sure.
I just want to give a quick few thoughts for anyone else who has been on the fence about returning. 1, Universal's doing an excellent job with their reopening. Everything was being cleaned constantly. There was a ready supply of hand sanitizer available. And even on what was considered a relatively busy day, I never felt unsafe. For the most part, the people in the park were following the social distancing rules. And if someone took their mask off, a team member asked them to put it back on almost immediately.
Good.
I felt as safe as one could given the situation, which is impressive for the parks of Universal's size.
Good.
Number 2, if you've been inside for most of the pandemic, realize that your tolerance to heat may not be as high as normal. This is very true, even if you are a Floridian. My fiance has been working from home for a while, and by the end of our day, she was struggling with the heat where it normally doesn't bother her. Most importantly, I finally got to film which loo gets your poo, and that's film, guys. And I was wanting to do it for a while. Here's the audio clip.
Hello, UUOP. This is Eugene coming from the bathroom at Dr. Seuss, the Quan bathroom. Clearly the best bathroom in the park. Always empty, always nice, always clean. Make this quick because I am literally in here.
Awesome.
So when I walked into the queue is for Quan restroom and saw no one was in there, I knew I had to do a quick video for you all. It is the best restroom in the park after all. I rushed it a bit, but I think it works. As always, thanks for the podcast. I drive a lot, and your work is always the perfect thing to listen to when I need something to make me smile. We're here for you, buddy.
Yeah.
Stay strong and stay safe out there, Eugene. And we will be posting that video that Eugene did on our Facebook and Instagram, so make sure to go check it out. Eugene spent a great deal of time putting that together for us.
I better ask him and make sure it's all right first, because I'm sure he will.
And
It's
then,
NSFW, so just be careful.
as I said, then we'll get shadow banned by Instagram and Facebook. So if you don't see us for a while, that's why.
It's Chris's fault.
Blame Eugene.
It's Chris's fault. He was like, record it while you're there. Video it. Why not?
Yeah. So next we want POVs. So guys, go out there, start recording.
Chris, you can't complain that people do what you ask them to do and then give them more stuff to do.
Look, man, this all started because my favorite segment on the show, which was top 5 bathrooms. And here we are. Here we are,
Pretty
guys.
cool segment, though, actually. Yeah. So if you want to get involved, any way, shape or form, preferably not 3D, record yourself telling us which your Islands of Adventure or Universal Studios Florida bathroom is your favourite and why, and email it to us at podcast@uuopodcast.com.
We have 2 joint top at the moment. We haven't had an awful lot, in fairness. So please, people, get on it. We've only had like 2 for
Get
7.
on it, what, the toilet?
And we know you're using the bathroom out there, so don't
Of
lie
course.
to us either.
So we need more. Cool.
Makes us sound like such perverts.
No, I love these debates, though. They're funny. You get to listen. I love getting the listeners involved.
Yeah.
Because people get sick of listening to us. Jeff Rides. Was it Jeff Rides? For everyone.
Well, happy birthday.
Who doesn't know what Jeff Rides is? I think he posted in the Producers Club last week that he's got... Did he say he's got 60 episodes left and then he has officially listened back to every single episode that we've posted? That man is a glutton for punishment.
Jeff, you need to get yourself a life.
We gotta give him a title like the unofficial librarian or something of the podcast.
Yeah.
Someone, I can't remember who it was, said, right, well, we need official ratings for each episode. And I thought, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I want to know, but it's a good idea. Cool.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Premier Pass limited time benefits. Now, we talked about Premier Pass holders getting a bit of a bum deal this year due to no Halloween Horror Night. The park's closing early. Well, Universal have come out with a couple of sub-in perks. Sub-in?
Yes, they've subbed them in. They're not normal perks. They are subbing.
Okay, just didn't resonate well with me. So first, Universal Express access will start at 2 p.m. That's available August 10th through September 30th, 2020. This is valid at Universal Studios Florida and Universal's Islands of Adventure. And secondly, there is one free theme park admission ticket for a guest. And this is available August 17th through December 24th, 2020. And that's valid for park-to-park admission to both Universal Studios Florida and Islands of Adventure for any one day. That's quite a good one, actually.
Is it, you think?
Yeah. You've got someone coming from out of town, you can take them for free. They'll think that you made them money. It's brilliant. And you'll get a better Christmas present out of them as well, because, it finishes on Christmas Eve, so you take them that close and...
Very true.
Yeah, see? Lee's not looking impressed.
If I had a Premier Pass ticket and one of the benefits I was using was my Halloween Horror Nights ticket and I was losing that, being able to take someone else for free does not make up for that ticket for me.
Okay.
Because that's not me getting... I'm not getting anything out of it. I don't want to take other people.
Oh, you're so mean.
Like, are we going to... I don't...
No.
Everyone I know who's in that area has already got a ticket anyway.
Well, you need to get yourself
One
some
of our
more
little
friends.
boys waiting outside. He's like, please, sir, I'd like to go in with you.
Yeah. Go away, you
Some
street
more, sir.
urchin.
Of course, Premier Pass holder must accompany that guest to the front gate ticket window to pick up the ticket. So while you're there, you might as well go in yourself. And must be a valid Premier Pass holder as of Sunday, November the 1st, 2020, to receive the benefit. The guest ticket is eligible for early park admission, but no, the Premier Pass holder benefits apply to the guest ticket, which is fair enough.
You don't really need them because they're going with you anyway, so it's irrelevant.
Yeah, if you've got to be there, you're not going to drive there and then go, yeah, see, I'm going home now.
Oh, yeah.
So
no.
we all know that we're going to have like Premier Pass holders sitting out in the front gates like ticket scalpers and like,
I was
hey,
going to say,
come over here.
yeah.
I can get you inside the park for $50 cash right here. Pretend you're my cousin.
Yeah.
Ali, if you're listening, I do not advocate. I do not advocate what Chris has just told everybody to do. By the way, so all the Premier
I didn't
Pass.
say to do that. I said we
No,
will see
there
that
will be.
happening.
Yeah, but people might not have thought of it, and you've just given the idea now.
Well, that's called post-editing.
It wouldn't surprise me.
No, it's going to happen. Because, as keeps getting said, this is why we can't have nice things.
Mhm.
Because people will find loopholes and take advantage and spoil it for everybody else. So please don't do that.
Yeah, one day
people.
ticket's 110. I can get you in for 50.
I'll get you in for 109.
But yeah, as
No
a pass holder,
tax.
you think $50. It's just that for me is not a benefit of losing your Horror Nights ticket for this year.
I think we'll probably see more.
I was just going to say that.
Because I mean, it's a nice thing to do. I'm sure
Yeah.
there's a lot of family members that would love to bring in people, from out of town that come and visit. So, it's a nice gesture. But it would suck, right? If that was your perk and you just never used it. So then that perk you also wasted too, because you don't have anybody to bring because all your friends already have passes, or you're an introvert that hates the world.
But then I wonder how many people get the Premier Pass and don't go to Halloween Horror Nights. Interesting, actually.
That'd be a really good number to know.
Yeah. Because I know I saw people complaining in one of the annual pass holder groups, not the main one, the Team Connie one, saying that they looked like the pass holder entrance lane at the parking at the toll booths wasn't there this weekend.
That seems
which
to be
is interesting. Well, no, it was supposed to be. If you remember 2 weeks ago, we talked about it's supposed to be now through September 30th. And for it just to disappear seems a strange one. Anyway, I haven't got a Premier Pass. I can't even go in the parks, so it's irrelevant to me.
Bitter much?
No, just annoyed. Just missing my favourite place. Knowing that it's only about 10 weeks or something, 8 weeks when we should have been going out, and then we're only about 5 weeks away from all those memories on people's Facebook pages popping up from the weekend of last year. It's going to kill me.
Well, stop torturing yourself and talk about something really positive that we're going to do.
Right, this is something we should have done a long time ago, in fairness. A good friend of ours, Pippa Young.
Hello, Pippa!
Producers Club member Kieran, his fiancée, made us...
I thought you were going to say something to Kieran.
No, I'm not going to. I'm going to be nice to him.
Oh, yes, it's a nice
Because
segment.
I called him a fanny last week and I called him a knobhead before, so I'm going to be nice to him tonight. She has her own craft store. She's making masks at the moment. Good. She used to make sort of Disney here. They weren't ears, but headbands.
Yeah, with ears and flowers and bows and things. Really pretty, absolutely gorgeous.
She made us some Universal themed ones.
And she still does make headbands.
A Marvel one and a Harry Potter one. Yes. The pictures are on our Instagram and our Facebook page. It's pinned to the top of our Facebook page. But anyway, for anyone who's not familiar with the Producers Club this year, we've been doing a lot of extra fundraising. Now, normally we donate to at least $200 to Give Kids the World every year through the Producers Club. This year is no exception. We've also been asking people to do a voluntary extra donation this year because Give Kids the World is really hurting a lot because of COVID. And that donation at this point is just shy of $2,000. We are incredibly proud of our producers.
You people rock. You are my heroes.
So what we've decided to do with these headbands is we're going to have 2 silent auctions. I'm
gutted because I'll be quite honest, I wanted to keep them.
So as I say, the pictures are on Instagram and Facebook. Go and check them out. As I said, there's a Harry Potter one. It's kind of Gryffindor-y themed, and the Marvel one's Marvel-y themed. Yes. But if you are interested, we would like you to email your top bid to us in dollars to the usual email, which is podcast@uopodcast.com, and title it either HP headband or Marvel headband. And if you want to bid for both, please send 2 separate emails, just because I can't multitask.
No, it's not.
You have until midnight. We're only giving it a week. Midnight GMT on this coming Saturday, August the 29th. The winners will be announced on the Facebook page at midday on Sunday, August the 30th, and all those proceeds will be donated to Give Kids the World. So please go and get your bids in. Yeah. They are worth it. They're awesome.
Oh, they are beautifully made.
If you're interested in Pippa's stuff, she is Pippa's Magical Mix.
Yeah, go and check her out. The stuff's amazing.
She's on Facebook and Etsy. It's an Etsy store, but yeah, go and check her out and please get your bids in them. They'll really appreciate it. And they are pretty cool, and it's a good thing, you know. Give Kids the World needs it.
Absolutely.
We love them,
those kids and families need that village to survive. So let's get on it, people.
Yeah, these headbands are pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Haven't told Lee that I'm going to be spending his money on bidding myself.
Yeah, she won't be.
Yeah, I will do.
Let's create a fake email.
Shh, don't tell him my secrets.
She doesn't know how to. She struggles with the one she's got.
So that's going to do it for another episode of the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Thank you for joining us. We're going to wrap this show up with another Universal Is. And this one comes from Sue Delorio. Now, if you want to be involved, just drop us an email to podcast@uopodcast.com. You know what to do. Let us know what you think Universal is in 3 words or less.
Please get them in. We haven't actually got that many left, believe it or not.
Yeah, come on. Let's have some really funny ones as well.
Yeah, like not SeaWorld, I think was Jonathan Hopkins from a couple of weeks ago.
We need some rude ones. That'd be fun.
I'll share Jeff Royd's, and I think there's a couple of Alexa ones in there that'll fit that bill.
Well, there you go. Okay, so Sue says Universal is riding the movies. See you next week.
Guess that wraps things up for another unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. You guys did all right. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Pinterest, keyword UUO Podcast. Listen and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, or anywhere podcasts are found. You can find our blog at uuopodcast.com. Send us your spews, which Lou gets your poo recordings, questions, or comments to podcast@uuopodcast.com. Check out our friends, the Theme Park Duo, and our awesome sponsors, Mouse and Muggle Travel Company. So, until next time, don't give up your day job. Say cheese. See you later.